Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I hope that you are all good. So here we are at December 17th of the Charlie's Nala Advent Calendar. This particular one didn't want to come out of the box. I really had trouble getting it out, and it made me a little bit sad seeing how empty the box is. I can't believe there's only a few days left. But anyway, let's open 17 and take a little look at what is inside. As always, each of these products are available on the website as of today, and I do have a discount code for Charlie's Nala, which is always in the description box below. So here we had this really pretty kind of like a netting, and then it's got foil stuck on there. It's really different, and in all honesty, I have seen these before, but I've never used it myself before. And it was a little bit more trickier to encapsulate than what I was expecting. So I'm looking forward to playing around with it a little bit more and definitely trying it out again. Now in today's design, we're going to be working with the Wow Bao acrylic system. So here I have a gold liquor, and this particular colour is so highly pigmented. A little bit really does go a long way. So I've come in with a small bead up at the cuticle area. I'm tapping it up into place around that cuticle, getting it nice and neat, taking it from side to side, and then I'm just painting it down the nail. And as you can see, it offers such beautiful coverage, and it just has a really nice pigmentation to it. I didn't want to take it all the way down to the very tip of the nail because I wanted that area of the nail to look quite transparent, so you could see that netting and foil a lot clearer, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to leave this as it is. Like I said, I'm not taking it all the way down. You could cover the entire nail and then pop the foil over the top if you wanted to. And then I'm going to basically cut this up. I'm going to cut a strip off, and then I'm going to cut it up into smaller pieces and lay them down. I don't know, I felt as though it was a little bit tricky to encapsulate, so I don't know if I could imagine trying to encapsulate it as a large piece, but it must be possible as I have seen others do it. I think you just need to play around with your techniques. So if you have used this before, please let me know how you used it, because I was at a bit of a loss of what to do with it. So I've cut up some smaller pieces, and then on the clear part of the nail, I'm going to come in with my clear acrylic. So I'm blending that back so it does go slightly over the gold. And then I'm just making sure there's a thin layer down wherever was clear on the nail. Then I'm picking up the pieces that I have cut up and I'm placing them down onto that wet acrylic. And this is where it was just a little bit tricky to get it to stick. It was quite firm, so it was a little bit hard to bend into place. So I'm just trying to nudge it around to where I want it to be. And once I'm happy of how it's positioned, I'm just going to come in with a little bit more, just so you can see a little bit more of it. But it does give off a really cool effect, and it does remind me a little bit of netting. But usually when I use netting in acrylic nails, I kind of just use it for that imprint effect. You know, like where you press it down and then you pull the netting off and you'll apply another coloured acrylic. So this was just something completely different to me. It was fun to use though, and that's what I loved about the Nala Advent Calendar, was everything was a surprise. So it's been nice to push yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit and try new things, especially for me anyway. So I'm now just going to pop a wash of acrylic over this, not really to encapsulate it yet, just to hold it in place so it doesn't move around, because I did decide, sorry, that when I was looking at the nail at this point, it looked a little bit too plain. I needed a little bit of glitter in there as well. So I am just going to add some glitter around this just to add another little pop of sparkle. I did really love how the red looked against the gold though. Obviously it gives off that really nice traditional red and gold vibe. And I'm doing my best here to press this down so that none of the pieces are sticking up, because obviously when you are encapsulating anything, it helps to flatten it out. I have seen people when they encapsulate stuff that's sticking up, I just remembered, where they hold a bit of cling film over it whilst the acrylic's set in. So I might have to try that with this next time as well. So like I said, I wanted to add a little bit of glitter. So I have this beautiful glitter mix here. This one's from Smiley's Glitter Store, and it's a red Christmas mix, and it's got some diamonds in there, some stars, and then some multi-cut hexagon pieces. I'm trying to just pick up tiny amounts of this and kind of just diffuse it around the foil pieces that are on that netting, just so you've got a few of the stars and then a few little glitter pieces. And then I'm just going to pick up individual shapes that I want out of that glitter mix and set them down. Anyway, guys, how are you all doing? I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Obviously, here in the UK and lots of other places around the world, we have all the COVID cases rising and things like that. So I hope wherever you are, you're keeping safe and well. My girls both broke up from school today, and I feel a little bit of a relief that at least they're off school now, if that makes sense. Now, I did allow those glitter pieces to set in place, and then once that had happened, I'm going to come in and encapsulate. So I'm encapsulating using the Wow Belle Crystal Clear here. I've just placed my bead down and blended it back to begin with so that I can focus the majority of this bead on the very tip of the nail, just because that's the thinnest part and I wanted to make sure I got some thickness down there. So I'm just patting that encapsulation layer from side to side, walking it down to the very tip of the nail, keeping my sidewalls nice and neat, and then smoothing everything out. I did find that I had to put a fairly thick layer of acrylic over the top of this to make sure that everything was encapsulated, because there was a few bits of the foil that were sticking up. So I definitely need to play around with my application of it. But luckily it wasn't too bad and it didn't look too bulky once it did come to finish filing. Because it's a long nail, you can make it a little bit thicker anyway and add a bit more of an apex. So it wasn't massively noticeable. Working my way down the nail, I've now come in with my cuticle and apex bead. So I've placed that down in the apex area and left a majority of it there, and then just blended it out. And this is where you can kind of see there's a few pieces still sticking up. So I come in and just build up the thickness a little bit more. So I'm placing this bead down, but I'm trying to just focus it down the spine of that nail, blending it back to begin with, and then just pulling it down the entire length of the nail. I'm always going over my acrylic to try and get a nice smooth application to even out any lumps or bumps that might be in that acrylic, and just make sure the application is as neat as I could possibly get it. It did look a little bit uneven, just sloped off a little bit at the very tip of the nail. So I did decide to come in and build that up just a little bit more. And I'm blending that back into the previous bead of acrylic rather than pulling it off, because I knew that this now needed that little bit extra thickness. So this is what it does look like once it has been fully encapsulated. I left that acrylic to set, and then I did file and buff off camera. And then we're ready to come in and top coat. So I'm using the Wow Belle Diamond Shine top coat. This is a beautiful glossy top coat. So I'm just going to pop a thin layer of this over the entire nail, and it's going to bring all that red sparkle back. And then as well, you can see the beautiful shimmer from the gold. And then once I've popped this layer of top coat down, I'm also going to top coat underneath just slightly, just a thin layer, because it is a transparent tip. So you want to make sure that that's looking as clear as possible. Then I'm going to pop this in to cure for 60 seconds, and that is the end of today's design. So I did feel as though it was a little bit of a random one, but I hope you all enjoyed watching. As always, if you did enjoy the video, please do give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment below, and I shall see you in tomorrow's video. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.